So I've chosen the Satisfaction Guaranteed by Isaac Asimov, which is a quite abnormal story of the utopia/dystopia, at least from what we can read here. It is about Tony, who is a robot, and Claire Belmont, who now gets to have him as a test drive of sorts. So, as you can see, the first thing I've highlighted here, Miss Belmont, I hope you appreciate the importance of this experiment, and so on and so on. It really shows there's quite a lot of build-up. There's quite a lot of, behind the curtain stuff, like US robots and Mechanical Men Corporation. So it says that they are deeply embedded in this society. And you can see that they're quite advanced. He's a robot, but apparently he's like a normal human being. Almost. That's the important part. So this Claire, as you can see in the next thing I've highlighted, this one, she's really scared at the beginning because he's a robot. Who wouldn't be? He's really scared to make him angry because he thinks, perhaps, we don't actually know, it's just a theory that if he gets angry, he will hurt her. Since she's a robot, she can't really do anything. But then Dr. Calvin normally goes into just says straight up, he can't. It's the first law of robotics, and they build it through that. At least that's what he tells us. It might be something different. We don't know. Since it is a utopia-dystopia, it can be a bit sketchy at times. So, after that, you really see that I've highlighted their first real interaction. And as you can see, he's just mild-mannered. He's just a robot. He just does everything he's supposed to. He cleans up after himself after he used the kitchen. And she's scared, because that's not really normal. Normally, sometimes people leave something behind. You don't really clean everything up. But he just thinks it's completely normal. That's what he was designed to do. And really shows that it's not real right, these robots. You feel like there's something deeply wrong, because he acts like a human, he talks like a human, he has mannerisms like a human, but he's a robot. And isn't there's like a fine line between, if he has basically everything that a human has, shouldn't he also be human-like, have human-like responses? It's the uncanny valley. Like, he looks and sounds and talks so much like a human, but there's just something wrong with him. It's just not quite right. And then you have this back and forth. And then he really goes into, he has actually quite a deep thought about human and the versatility of the human brain. As the next thing I've highlighted right here. It's quite beautiful on some level, the way he describes us humans and our brain. And Claire almost doesn't know what to say, because it's quite beautiful. Nothing can intimidate the creativity and versatility of a human brain like yours, which is broad, very broad. The next thing is she falls, this lady, Miss Belmont, and she just immediately catches her, which is inhuman, his reaction times, which is, of course it is, he's a robot. And she's very happy that he saved her on kind of a level, as it says, and then all at once she was conscious of his arms around her shoulder and under her knee, holding her tightly and warmly. She pushes, and her scream was loud in her own ear. She spent the rest of the day in her room, and thereafter she slept with a chair upended against the doorknob of her bedroom door, which also shows that she is really scared of him, because that shouldn't have happened, but how fast he did it. And he saved her, and he really protected her from her own human clumsiness, as she kind of says earlier. And at the end, where he's supposed to go, the last paragraph I've highlighted. It is shown here that she is scared of where he will go. She's scared of what will happen when her husband Larry sees her, and she can't get to him because she doesn't know where he is. But later that the last part here, he starts to almost feel human emotions, like he has a desire to please her more than normally, more than like just his robot, his programming, which is really, it starts to build up that he might be something more than a machine. And as that, is it really like ethical to keep them, basically program them to be slaves? And should that actually happen? Because you can't keep a sentient race slaves. We found out that. That's just wrong. That's deeply wrong. So, is there something more going on? Because she's scared. Because, as you found out in the last sentences, they must have been seen then. They must all have seen everything. So there's something more going on there. They've spied on her, basically. Perhaps the company, perhaps the government, to see what would happen when somebody gets introduced to a robot that keeps them company and does everything, and then they learn there's more to it, because the robot can actually learn human emotion. And from then on out, it goes through the story. I haven't read it. I don't know. As for referencing it, there's not really a work we've read on quite as much that seems like it would reference perhaps A Brave New World, since that story also deals with like bred to do something. Here it's you're built to do something, you're programmed to do something. And for that is it actually ethical? Should you do it? Is there something, is more going on with this? Because in A Brave New World, people are bred in different classes of society to do different jobs. Here, robots are built to do like low-standing human jobs, like cleaning, probably something a lot more than we got on in this small, tiny part of it. And from there on out, it's like a question of your own ethical standard. Should it be? Is this right? Or is there something deeply wrong with this? Because no matter what, she's almost feeling emotion for this robot, because he saved her from an injury that we don't know the extent of. It could have been bad. It could have been not that bad. It could have been just been falling and hurting herself. But it's still an injury that he saved her from. And he didn't think twice about it. Of course, that's the first law of robotics, as it says. No, but he can't harm a human being through inactivity or direct activity. So therefore, it might just be his programming. But he still feels something for her. And from that, it's just, is that right? It might just be a defect in the programming. It could be entirely just a one-off model, but what is actually going on? So I wouldn't say it's a normal utopia/dystopia theme, because you don't really get anything like Big Brother or anything like that. You only get like a hint of it in the last two sentences. As I said earlier, they must all have seen everything, which is like, there's something going on, but what exactly? So I would say has a very special part in utopia dystopia. It's all because it's not normal. You don't like see what's to say, like at the Hunger Games, where it's just straight up, it's a dystopia because people are starving, they have to kill each other. No, it seems like just a normal neighborhood. This is Claire Belmont lives in, where she now gets a robot. But yeah, unfortunately, there's only a short couple of paragraphs, so we don't really know if there's something more sinister going on.